lot of today's commercial fisheries, it's been a common trend now for the last few years that, you know, the fish are just growing and growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger. Years and years ago, I remember when commercials first came on the scene and, you know, they were becoming popular, the fish used to get to 6 or 7 pound, and a lot of the fishery owners used to take those fish out. They used to put them into carp waters or specimen lakes, but that's, you know, not the case now on most of the waters, certainly that I visit. So a lot of the fish we're after now are easily into double figures, you know, and some go way heavier than that. As a match angler, if you're going to be hooking fish like that, you really need to be landing them. You know, there aren't many occasions when you can afford to be losing 10 and 15 pound fish, and they are, that, you know, that might sound big to some of you, but that is quite a common size now on fisheries up and down the country. With that in mind, that should obviously reflect in the type of kit that we're using in our hooks and our lines. I don't think I've ever fished a match where I didn't want to land one of those fish, and, you know, obviously that's when you're making choices about the type of tackle that you're going to use on each session. That's when you really need to think about the target fish that you're after and what you could potentially hook, and, you know, what kind of a weight of those fish you might think you're going to need. And with all that information, that's when you decide on what kind of hooks and line you're going to be using. It's, you know, I love a 6 pound, just a 6 pound strength wise mono on my reel for most of my fishing, but it is quite often now that I'm going up to, you know, 8 and 10 pound lines in diameters up to 0.22. You know, I can actually be using that on the reel if I'm fishing down the margin, or I'm fishing a peg that might be snaggy, or I am targeting bigger fish. A lot of these fisheries have got areas where fish are naturally more comfortable. They might be near reed beds or some sort of feature, and that's when you've got to think about having extra stronger gear to get those fish out should you hook them. Obviously there is the strength of the fish. Now that is obviously a key issue as regards landing fish. On some waters it's not that much of an issue because there are open water venues, so you can just play the fish out. But what you've also got to think about is that some of these areas that you're targeting these big fish have actually got obstacles. Say for example you're fishing up to reeds or even up to a platform at the next peg. All these are obstacles that can easily cut your line. They can rub against your line, your main line and your hook length line. So you need to be thinking about all those sorts of things when you make these decisions. I'm using, for all my method feeder fishing, I'm using the ready tide hooks and the hook lengths purely because they're so quick and easy. Just to take them out of the packet, they're super strong, they're very reliable, and they're neater and tidier than what I could do anyway, and it obviously saves me a lot of time at home preparing hook lengths like that. So they are really strong, but it's more a case of just trying to make sure that you're going to land every fish that you're going to hook. All right, and don't forget there are differences between summer and winter. In winter the fish are moving around a lot less and you're more likely to land some of those big fish on lighter tattle, but certainly in the summer when the fish are eating more, the water temperature is up, they're eating more, they've got more energy, that is when they can really be fighting at the hardest. So when you're selecting your kit, just think about what kind of tattle you can get away with that's going to allow you to get bites and hook fish, but also something that's going to be strong enough to land what could possibly be a match winning fish.